Okay, so let's do this one, and then I've only got one more.
Well, we got to do the fairy survey because that's what my title is about.
Fairy ad. It's funny I grabbed it as soon as I was like, oh, an ad survey. Grandma loves that. So this is the police force from Corey Morgan. In March of this year, Public Safety Canada released a report titled A New Policing Vision for Canada, Modernizing the RCMP. Among the many suggestions within the report, one said that the federal government should be committed to working closely with provinces to support a transition away from contract policing. The government feels the time has come to turn the RCMP into a more federally focused force and move away from rural and provincial police services. On July 2nd, so that was from Public Safety Canada. On July 2nd, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith held a press conference to announce an expansion of the Alberta Sheriff's Service into the role of a provincial force. While she didn't expressly say the role of the expanded force was to replace the RCMP, she did say municipalities could choose to replace the contracted RCMP services with the provincial sheriffs. Now, it would be nice if we could vote for them. That seems to be the best system, right? When you get to vote for your sheriff. The negative response to Smith's announcement wasn't expected in Alberta's polarized political environment. Yet, what is the Premier expected to do when the provincial contract with the RCMP is expiring in 2032 and the force is indicating it plans to stop leasing out its services?
What?
Is it fair? It is fair to question Smith's motives with the new force, though. The Premier is facing pressure from a growing provincial independence movement on her right flank, and moving away from federal police services could be a way to toss them a bone. Her move could be characterized as a capitulation to separatists, which may further inflame regional tensions. So it's worth mentioning that I think it's Newfoundland, Quebec, and Ontario already have that. The RCMP is an internationally recognized and respected symbol of Canada. It is one of the oldest police forces in the world. It is also due for changes in modernization. Morale among the force is low, and they have experienced a crisis in the ability to recruit new members. Critiques of the workplace culture and management have become commonplace, and alleged political interference from the Prime Minister's office during the Nova Scotia shooting investigation undermined confidence in the independence of the force. If the RCMP can't implement some solid reforms, the entire force could collapse. At a time when Canada is trying to reignite national pride and identity, losing a symbol as powerful as the Mounties would come as a blow. Ontario, Quebec, Newfoundland, and Labrador all have provincial police forces. They work in conjunction with the RCMP when they need to, and it works well. The reasons to oppose Alberta's creation of a force are political rather than practical. If the RCMP does end contract services, provinces reliant upon them would be well served to prepare for the transition now rather than rushing when the time comes. They must
7 years is not a lot of time.
No, to make a whole police force. You got to build like offices and all that kind of stuff. If the RCMP does end contract service, I read that already, right? They must be able to set aside partisan brinkmanship to do it right, though. If Alberta is any example, it won't be easy for politicians and activists to do so.
Well, we're running into a challenge too. I'd like to do more on this on one of our shows, but I was watching a video about the UK. Somebody's doing investigative work in the UK. It sounds very similar to Canada with what's happening with the police. So they did these. They set up a bike to be stolen, and then they tracked how the cops do it, and they just don't. They don't take care of any of these small crimes anymore, right? I mean, we know that's happening. Like it's happened to me personally in Calgary. It's happening, I'm sure, all over Canada, but the UK, this guy is doing really good research on like something like 1% of these things get investigated. The people that get let out after sometimes weeks or months go on to commit 15 more crimes. There's ridiculous stats, and there's some really easy fixes. They did a clampdown, like a study almost, like they clamped down on this one bike gang. They arrest 7 guys, and I dropped the bike thefts down 90%. So but people don't want to. Who wants to work? What kind of cops want to work for? An organization that's just going to let the criminals out, right? That don't even care about stopping crime or anything like that. I mean, there's these people that steal hundreds of phones a day. They have a phone theft
Yeah, I was
problem in
gonna
London.
mention the phone one. That's probably the other one that is, you would imagine, pretty easily tracked.
They tracked a supply chain right to China, right? The phone gets stolen, it goes to this place, then it goes to this other place, then it's off to China within a couple days. The phone's already getting disassembled in China for parts.